Hello everyone, Gadwall7 here. This is going to be kind of just an informal episode 2 on kind of modding for Mordhau. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the first episode, got a couple good comments about it. And I'm glad to see a whole bunch of my friends really got involved real quickly. Today we'll be covering how to set yourself up with reference maps, editing your map using them, and also linking your map to existing map in the game, and how to cook it and pack it so you can play test in single player. So I'll be going over all of that today in this episode. So first things first, you may be wondering, oh wow, this is quite a lot of stuff. How do you know it's actually fitting in your map? Well, the first thing you need to do is decide what map you're modding on, right? So I decided to pick Victoria for a server I'm modding for. And basically, you gotta reference. You got to tell the game, hey, I want to link this to Victoria. And in game, it's called Victoria map, right? So what you need to do is, if you look in the bottom left over here, you need to create an empty folder called Victoria map. And don't forget, that's with the I always misspell it, so make sure you spell it right. The capital F for Victoria and capital M for map. You want to create a Victoria map folder. You'll notice there's resources and all this, but all you really need to do is just right click, create a level, and call it Victoria map. Now, if I was to open this, it's pitch black, absolutely nothing. That's because the game overwrites this. It's like a protected variable, and it'll simply reference the actual Victoria map rather than your own. So first things first is you're going to go to the top left, and you're going to click levels, and it'll pull up a menu. Usually it'll do a pop-up. I like to drag it in the side window here. Now what you need to do, default streaming method, always loaded. So that way you always see it and you can always just toggle visibility. Then you're going to do add existing. And you're going to go to where you just created that map. So here in Victoria map, I'm going to add Victoria map right there. So now you actually just referenced it. Now I recommend you lock it. So one, you don't touch it. And two, you'll see at the bottom left, it'll say, or bottom right, it'll say level Victoria map. You need to change that and double click on your persistent level. Always make sure this right here is your persistent level, because otherwise you're editing the other levels / maps. Now one other thing that you can always do is add a reference map. So let me just dig around real quick. It's kind of a mess in here, so pardon me. It's not in there, I just had it. Search folders. Ref maps, perfect. We're gonna go ahead and get in the Victoria map. And now, so originally, you can download the reference maps. They're in the Mordhau Discord. Just look up ref and you'll find it pretty quickly. It's in free assets. It'll come with all these. Now, I made a new one called Victoria Ref Landscape. And the reason why is, for a lot of it, if you're modding outside of Victoria itself, you actually don't really need to know where a lot of the stuff is. You just need to know the landscape. Victoria Ref Map has about 90 to 110,000 assets or whatever. So it's really computer intensive. Landscape is not. So I'm going to load that. And now it's linked. I'm going to lock it. So now you notice there's a brand new part of land. Ignore me, I was experimenting over here the previous tutorial. This is where the castle is in Victoria. This is where the wall is. You can see the moat over here, and there's a moat over there. I'm going across the river and modding over here by where the dock is and some of the unrendered houses. So that's how you get a reference map and you're able to gauge the landscape. So now that you're doing that, I mean, to be blunt, it's pretty straightforward, right? You just need to come on, camera speed. You just need to just make sure your wheels and assets are in alignment. And if let's say you get doing houses, then you might need to add another foundation to make it work. But this allows you to see the landscape. Now, let's say you're all done and you want to start packing it, right? We already linked it to Victoria map over here, which you can see, and we just need to kind of pack it and get it ready. First things first, what I always do is you gotta unlock this and then delete it. So just hit delete. Just deleting the reference. It's not actually deleting the map itself. This is all you should have. It should be pitch black. There should be no lighting, no nothing. I'm gonna go ahead and save. Now, what you gotta do, remember this can be pretty intensive for your computer. So make sure you have a decent computer. Cook content for Windows. And down here, we get cooking content for Windows. Now, in the meantime, I wanted to show you while it's cooking my file structure here. From the last tutorial, you saw me have, Mordhau. This is where the actual project is stored. You can see it right there. Got to download the Mordhau packer, which is available on the Discord. And also, I created a folder called packs. This is where I output everything I'll pack with the Mordhau packer. The last thing you need to do is I strongly recommend people pin their packs location. And by the way, it's in Steam apps common Mordhau content packs. Pin that folder by going back one and dragging it over here and pinning it over quick access. Do that so that way you can move it from packs to packs real easy. Now, you may have noticed while I was talking in the bottom right, it's done cooking. Does that mean we can play it? No, it does not. We need to pack it in the Mordhau packer. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So make sure you unzip the Mordhau packer. I try to keep it pretty close to where everything is. We'll open up the Mordhau packer and I'll explain what it is here. All right, so your pack file name is actually what the actual file is going to be called. So if you look in packs here, Gadwall's Cumin Camp literally comes from here. The directory to the pack can be found by basically where does your stuff get cooked. So in this case, it's going to be Mordhau, saved, and then it'll be cooked for cooked access, Windows no editor, Mordhau, content, Mordhau. So you'll notice it's a very similar file structure. Cumin Camp, and you basically give them this file path. It'll take care of all this crap. So give them this file path. Only thing you really need to change, honestly, is if you structure your things correctly, only thing you'll ever need to change is the name on the end here. That's why the file structure is so important. Now, pack structure, that's basically how should it reference everything? What's inside of it? So what it's doing here is content Mordhau maps Cumin Camp, and it's referencing everything, aka anything with the name of any file format. The asterisks are all inclusive in regex. So that's what it's doing here. So it'll include cumincamp.exp, umap, all that fun stuff. Lastly is your target directory. Where do you want to output it? I put it in a folder that's right near the base so I can get to it easily even if I don't have it pinned. And with that set up, we'll go ahead and click pack. You'll notice it's quite quick. Ignore a lot of these warnings. Not a big deal. Okay. Well, one last thing to do since we're packed. Delete, if you're doing it again, delete the pack you have existing in here. The replace doesn't always work. We'll go ahead and drag it in the packs. Congratulations, you now have it locally installed. We're going to go ahead and open up Mordhau here. And basically use the console command to open your thing. Oh, come on, game. Thank you. So we gotta, I don't know if you guys can hear that noise. So you gotta keep in mind what you named the UMAP, right? So mine's Cumin Camp. I called the folder, the maps folder, Cumin Camp, and I called my Unreal asset Cumin Camp. I actually don't know what it references when you do open. I'm assuming it's the map, not the folder, because obviously the pack name's different. So that's a thing. But you go in the console. So default's tilde. I bound it to something else to make my life easy. Then we're gonna go ahead and take care of that. Just loads. Jeez, a little slow today, fellas. A little slow. Wow, it's never this. It's never this slow. I mean, they say the moment you start doing something, the moment everything doesn't work. I wonder if I didn't pack it right. Oh, there we go. It's slow. All right, so we're in. He's having a fun time, just like me, teaching you guys. So we're gonna go ahead and open it fully. Open Cumin Camp. Notice in the top left, it says Cumin Camp up here, which is fun. Just give it time to load. Probably my hard drive taking a while. I didn't put it on anything fast and furious. What it's doing right now, so you gotta keep in mind is the more and more stuff you add, the longer you add to loading time. First 1,000 or 2,000 assets doesn't affect it too much, but if you get real big on some maps, it will affect it terribly. So I put a spawn in. I recommend doing that. Put a spawn near your testing area. Look at that. Just for reference, there's Victoria across the river. We have all these assets here. And yeah, so this is how you kind of play test. So now I'm in my area. So, you know, for example, one asset I needed to fix was getting, taking care of the fence gate here. Not the fence gate, the fence in general. The hitbox is weird because it goes from here all the way to there. So this is how you kind of test collisions, interactables, and all that fun stuff. But yeah, I thought this would be a quick little video here. It's about 11 minutes, so perfect. It's not too simple, or it's not too hard. Again, the hardest part about getting started is just getting the Mordhau thing set up. So hopefully with these 2 tutorials so far, you guys kind of know what to do. Next thing I'll be going over, once I've, get rid of the kinks a little bit here, is custom banners. So this is my faction banner, reference to Cumania, if you want to look that up sometime. You notice up there, it's a little black at the end there, so I gotta work on the clipping. But besides that, this is how you play test. Test making your skeletal meshes into static. That's what I did for these tents, for example. And then you can really look at the little details and how that works, as well as lighting. So for example, right now I'm testing the particle system, which I'm actually happy to say is working. So that's a huge development for me today. So I have the torches working. We'll just have to see how well those work light, but that's cool. I got that working, and I'll be real, that was because of the Mordhau modding Discord. Very helpful, very friendly guys in there. But anyway, thank you so much for your time, guys. Hopefully this helped, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.